guys, it's me, Julia. I am here today with a really impromptu video because I remember somebody asked about how to use a plaster mould, a slip casting mould, in an alternative way. So once it's kind of past its best as being a slip cast mould, or you're missing a piece or it's broken somehow, I'm going to show you how to be able to still use them. So I have with me, I'm going to do this. I could have started with a smaller one, but I was going to do this today anyway. It's the jug. Can you see? Yeah. So I've already done 1/2. I'm just going to move that across, and now I'm going to do this half. I'm just going to move you down slightly. There, you should be able to see there. It's just on a slight. I wonder if I could tip it up even more so you can see. These little boards. Don't think that helps very much, but I'll try it like that. Okay. It's a warm day today in England for a change. So I have rolled a slab out. You can see it behind there. It is approximately 1/4 of an inch, maybe 7 millimeters. And it's just so simple. I've ribbed it both sides. I'm going to lift it and I'm going to place it into the center of the mould, and I'm just going to ease it in. The mould has quite a big belly on it. I'm going to show you further on this side, then you can see kind of there if that one's on display. So I'm just going to push. The reason why I'm keeping it kind of more about 7 centimeters is just when I press it down, it's going to thin it out a little bit. So I'm just easing, and then I'm going to gently press in. And then fold it back gently over the sides. Just so we can start to get the shape of it. And then I'm going to just gently ease that belly shape. Get these little folds out here. Just gently press in. If you've got any kind of sharp edges and your mould, your clay kind of breaks, you can just put more clay in. You're going to have to rib the outside of it, but you can keep adding. If you had like quite a deep piece that you couldn't get the clay into, I would probably just keep adding clay anyway into it. This one just about manages to not stretch too far. It's really too hot to be doing anything. In fact, but I think it's cooler in here than it is in the house. So I'm just going to stay in here. My energy is low today, but my desire is high. So I'm going to try and get some glazing done. See how I go. But for some reason I wanted to do this pot because I want to do an altered form. I just had the idea pop into my head. So I'll take you along for the ride because it's just an experiment. as it usually is with me. Hardly ever do the same thing twice. Right, so there's a few little lumps around this edge, so I'm just going to smooth them out. Now what I'm doing is creating a kind of a groove on the other side of where the mould is. Okay, so I think now I can start to trim off the excess. Always use a wooden tool with your plaster moulds, because you don't want any plaster in your, maybe still a little thick, you don't want any plaster in your clay. Okay, I'm going to go with that, I think. So I'm just going to trim off the excess with this wooden tool. I prefer one with a flatter edge. This is round, but that means I have to go back in the house and get it out from my other tool. I don't want to. Have a pot with all my spare, and as I put it in, I'm giving it a little squirt because it is just warm today. So I'm going to go around the edge here, just kind of cutting in to take the large amount of excess off first. I'm going to need another pot, I think. Can you see there? So I've just cut in. It's not right at the edge of the mould yet. Just doing it bit by bit. If you go wrong, you can always just put an extra bit in. It's quite forgiving, really. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need another pot. And then where the spout is at the top, I'm going to cut here. Can't see it all there. Because when that comes out, I'm going to be able to trace around that kind of edge anyway. So I'll leave the top edge to be cut once it's out of this mould, and the bottom edge, but the sides I can trim up. So what I'm going to do is just use the flatish edge of this, and I'm just going to start pulling some extra clay away, and then create a flat edge. Can you see there? If it starts to pull away, just push it back in. If it's created a thin spot, you can just add a little bit more to it, but I think that's fine. And then kind of clean your edge, so you've got a reasonably clean edge there. And then you can just smooth that little sharp corner up there. That's that side. Do the other side. Gosh, it's so dry already. And then because we're going to be making two sides, we'll need a base. one does actually have a base if I was pouring it. So it's not one of my worst moulds. But I'm not actually finding slip casting to be something that I'm overly fond on, because I'm finding with the casting slip it's creating pinholes and things, and if I use the mould like this, it's just going to be like I'd built it any other way. I mean, I could try a different casting slip, and I probably will, especially because I did some little bunnies in the last kiln opening. They were super cute, and they were slip cast, so I'm just going to go along the edge, just really gently, because you don't want to take any plaster with you. So that's that edge. Just going to smooth it out a little bit there and there. Okay, so I'm going to let those dry for a little bit. So I shall put you on pause, but you won't know because I'll be straight back. I'm melting into a heap here, but I thought I would just show you because I've just got one piece out. I've got the other one drying. Hopefully it'll not be too much, but I just wanted to show you what I'm doing with the coils for the handle. So I've just rolled 2 quite thick coils, and then I am gently encouraging them around each other like this, twisting with one hand and in the opposite direction with the other. That's probably enough. I'm going to smooth them out a little bit because there's a few big cracks actually. This isn't the best clay, it's the clay that I got, the reclaim bucket clay that I got off Guy. So then I'm going to sit that just on an angle, rough kind of. I might have to do a different handle actually, because this is really not liking this twisting. But I'm going to do it in that rough shape there, and I'm going to bring the other mould back in. So you know when it's ready, same kind of with slip casting, it started to move away from the edge. Anywhere that it's not really moved away, you can just gently take it off, because this feels pretty dry. And then I'm going to lift it out. Okay. Stand that there. Can you see? Yeah, I think so. There. So you can see on there that it has the line here that needs to be cut, a little bit around the bottom, so I shall do that first and then tidy it up a little. You can hear it's quite dry. I had it outside, it's only been about half an hour, I think. The aim is to try to get both sides the same. Right, then I'm going to, oh, I just forgot my pot is open. Let me put some more spray. Just rip around the little scratches and things that are in there. Right, now we're going to see if the two pieces kind of match up at all. Doesn't look too bad so far, does it? A little bit on the spout. I could probably lift that a teeny bit. But yeah, I think I can work with that. So I'll go with the driest bit first and do some slipping and scoring. It would help if I had tools in here. Where is that? There's my pencil. I lost that pencil. I'll have to go get one. Right, okay. So I'm going to just got like a sludgy slippy mix in here. I'm just going to go wet the edges down a bit. Do some scoring. Right, I'll slip and score the rest of it. Okay, so I lost my phone for a little bit. It got too hot. So I was slipping and scoring the last time you saw it. And I have slipped and scored both sides and then put them together. I'm starting to just smooth down the seams and going inside to smooth down the internal seams. You could try and put a coil in. It's probably preferable, but it's kind of awkward because the hole isn't that big. So I think I'm just going to get my, oh, maybe I have a different one now. I've got a different hole. He might feel better. Just going to try and smooth that down a bit. So apologies for not having the little bit you missed about sticking the two halves together, but it's just a simple slip and score two halves of something together. I'm sure you know how to do that. I'm just making sure that I'm holding the seam from the other side, so when I'm pressing in, I'm not pushing that seam open. To get this side. Securing the edges as well. Quite difficult to see going from the other end again. And I'm kind of smooshing from one side and then the other side, just to have maybe a little bit more bonding in there. And then I shall go with this water here, smooth it out a bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, because when you glaze it, it's going to kind of smooth it over a little bit. If you have got a seam, it will show it up a bit, but it's all part of it being a hand-built piece. It's taken me a long time to get over my perfectionist mentality, because I am a perfectionist. I can do from the top anyway. It's just making sure that the bottom's okay. So I shall slip and score the bottom. In fact, first of all, I'll make sure it's level. So going on the base, which is up there. Get a bit of smush. Nice good old score. Oh, that's got quite dry already. So what I'm going to do is just put a little mark on there, and then I can just cut it down a teeny bit. Actually, yeah, what I'll do is I'm just going to, where I've made that mark, do some slipping and scoring. I'll just cut it down as I put it on. A bit of smushy slip. There, that should be okay. A bit more on there. Lovely. And just set that down and give it, I like to give it a bit of a wiggle. It just helps to really get a grip. How's she doing? Not too bad. There is a slight indent in here, but I'll come back with that. good. So I'm going to just tap it on the table actually rather than on that board. And I'm going to start taking the excess off there. Okay, just seeing if you can see. My hair grows when it's hot and humid, so you'll have to excuse my tumbleweed hair. It goes like, have you ever seen the Friends episode where they go to Barbados, I think it is, and Monica's hair just grows and grows and grows. Mine's like that. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go as straight down as I can. Where that's got that little dint there, I'm going to fill that back in a little bit, I think. I could probably do this much neater. Now I'm going to pick it up. I can do a little bit better job of it now. I'm just going to go around this way. Just taking off all the edges that I've just created. This little slippy bit there, I'm going to push in that little divot that I found. Just to fill that up there a little bit more. And the next little bit as well, I think, as I go around. And I can smooth that out as I come around. Just you kind of have to be careful doing it this way because you can make a mess, as I have done a million times before. Do me, keep knocking it. And then I'm just going to start smoothing this up a little bit because there's a bit of a join on there. So you put whatever bottom you'd think on, but this is what this one's having. Could cut it in on an angle so that it comes properly in on a slope, but it tends to, because I've done that before, it tends to make it a little bit unstable. Got that divoty bit there. This is just kind of rough, you know, like I'm going to go back around probably several times and neaten it up. You probably need to be on the left side of me actually, the camera. Right, that needs smoothing out as well, so that's that for the moment. That was nice too, yeah. These things happen with us ladies and their nails. Right, stick those there. What's in there? Because this is all getting rather dry, I'm just going to dip it in water. Oh, I've lost a piece. Put it in there. I like to keep all my like scraps wet because I never know if I need it. Just might need a bit. Oh, I'm setting up my towel. Okay. Uncoordinated. And then I'm going to start going round and trying to smooth out the seams. Much easier without that wobbly rocker. Turntable rocker. Oh, brain. That's not too bad. I do say so myself. Not too bad. Need a bit down there. Slight hole. When I got all this clay, he said that it was white and grey. Scandi clay. I don't know what this one is, but it looks kind of like whitish, but it comes out buff. Taking that bit up there. I think that might have been where I filled that piece in. But I should just keep coming back to that. Let's clean the edge off there. I do love smoothing. Right, and where the seam is again. Was under plastic for a while my phone was cooling down, but it was still drying because it's pretty dry. Right, see if I can get under there whilst I'm holding it. now that it's smooth, I can look at the shape. Still not fully happy where that was at the bottom. Right, put it back on here. Let's have a look. A little rough around the edge, so we're going to have a look at that. See how kind of smooth we want it, or whether we want it to be a flat lip or smooth it round. You can do whatever you want, it's your part, or whatever it is whichever slip cast mould you're using. You've got to be careful not to make it unstable where the joint is when you're smoothing. So it looked slightly thicker on that side, but it was just a little bit of excess clay. Now I'm going to get water, try and smooth this lip out here. Okay, and I think I just got a little excess. I don't like putting too much water on things, but this needs a good smooth with it being quite dry. I have to keep checking that it's still recording because it keeps wanting to switch off. So let's have a look how we're doing here. So far, this is where we're at. We can still see a little bit of the join there. If you look from your side, it's not as obvious from here, but I'm going to go a little bit more just on this edge. See if we can just skim a little more. Have a look. Not as obvious that, is it? And once I've smoothed it out some more, as it dries, now okay, just going to take a teeny bit and just pop it in there because there's just a slight divot in there. I'm just gonna, that's better. Tell you what else I'm gonna do as well. I'm gonna just encourage this over a little bit more. You don't have to keep it the shape that they came out of the mould. It's just got a little knobble on the end, which I think might disturb the flow. There, that's better. There. Much better. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. That's smooth. And now we can have a look at the handle. It has been under wraps. We'll see what that looks like. So, that's not too bad, is it? It's not wonky, it's just the twirler. Twirly. Okay. I will come back to that. Just needs a bit more smoothing. When it's dry, let's get rid of these scraps. I'll just put these little scraps in my slipper pot. Because generally my slip dries out between uses anyway. So let's see what we've got. Is this going to be useful? Hope so. It's actually probably still a little wet to use, but I also don't want to do it too dry because it's very cracky to start with. Just the nature of the clay that it is. So what am I going to do? I like the idea of that long one actually, or something shorter. Starting out here. I think I might split this into two into there and then do it long. What do you think? My hair. Right, yes, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to blend it into this here and then blend those in. And then I'll hold it out with some sponges or something like that. So let's see. It doesn't want to just stay, so I'm just going to shove a bit of, actually I don't need it on the twirler for that really, do I? It's probably going to be more of a pest. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry if I startled anyone. So I'm going to just, I've just separated these two bits because I think I said I might do that. Let's get a little bit of slippy pippy. You still see? Much awkward being left-handed. Okay. So I'm going to do it like that, I think. So I shall just give this a bit of an old groovy. And kind of do that. Yes, that works for me. And then probably just go with, ooh, what about then doing those kind of into some kind of curly thing. What do you think? What do you think? They're not even, but I can cut that down. So maybe slip it on about there and then either chop it off or do something fancy. Fancy. Yeah, I'm liking that. So we're going to go slippy here. Try and get it level. Ooh. Whoopsies. I'm not very delicate. Okay. Got a big scratch on there now. Okay, so that looks about right there. I'm going to just give it a little wiggle. There we go. Just try and get it to start sticking. My slip brush is a bit eerie. Let's get that excess off there. Right, well, let's see what we can do. I don't want to press too hard because then we're going to make an indent in it. So I'm going to cut this bit here, although that could be supporting it. Oh, I've got all that there. Okay, I'm going to, should I cut a bit off and then blend it in? Oh yes, he's got a big chunk inside. Let's get my elbows. There. Plop, plop. And I'll go inside first. I'll try and do both actually, try and smush a bit together. Smush. But I want it to not be too, I still want it in a shape. So it kind of like grows out of the jug. Like it's grown a branch. Blend it in with this one. I do like the back of my nail for blending. And then I'm going to get a little bit of water because it's slightly drier on the inside. And let's see what we can do. Having a bit of a feel. Yep, feels good. And then we'll get some blend the rest. Yes, that looks good. This bit looks a bit not as good. Just want to blend that bit in a tiny bit more. Sorry if you can't see. Just need to get it where my hand's not so awkward. That's it. I think. that makes sense, without it falling off. So it's kind of grown out of. I've got another brush. Yes, this little broken brush, just too much. Just a teeny bit more smoothing on that. Beautiful. Okay, so let's smooth down here, because we don't need it to blend in as much down here, because we're going to do, I think we're going to do some kind of extra fancy, but I am going to, I've got another cup, just put some water here, just get these with a few. And then I might use this sponge just for support. Right, so now I'm going to put it on the twirler because I need a little bit more height. Now, where can we go with this? Let's see if I can get it a bit thinner. I'm not sure it's going to thin out enough. I'm trying to treat it like a pulled handle. Obviously I don't want to pull it off the pot either. And my nails are catching the pot. So let's see, what can we do with this now? Actually, that looks nice, just a flourish. That looks quite nice. Just as a flourish, what do you think? Let's try to do the same with the other side. It's like trying to milk a piece of clay. Got some more holes in here. It's going to be rustic. Oh, I can feel that moving because that sponge just moved. Support it. Bearing in mind, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going with the flow. This is how I create. Let's have a look. Is that too much with 2? I don't want it to be too symmetrical. Do they need to both go kind of up? No. Does this need to come around a little bit? And this one? Not quite the same shape and depth, but I wonder if I can get this one a bit more. No, I don't think I can. So maybe what it's going to do is smaller flourish here and a slightly larger, or top the end of that one. Something like that, I think. You're probably saying no. More flourishing. Maybe that's better. Yes, actually, I think I like that better. Okay, so we're going to go with that. So let me get those, a little bit of scory slip. On there. Round a bit. In there. A little bit of that. Ooh, big blob. In there. So we're about equal-ish, something like that. And then just smooth those off. And just go around a bit. Apologies for the, sounds like a freight train, because it probably is. There, so apart from a little bit more smoothing as it dries, I think we have it there. This needs a little bit more adhesion at the top because the weight is pulling it off. So I'm going to give him a good bit of support. That should do. So I'll just show you before I sponge it back up. And that is that. Apart from a little bit of support here and there and a little bit of smoothing. That should be done. And then the final result will be in kiln opening 30 or 31, depending what I can get in. It is a heavy handle, so it's going to need support. I shall find some more spongy things to hold it up. So that is how I use the plaster moulds to make something a little bit different than just slip casting. So I'll see if I can put a picture in at the end of it in leather hard stage so that you can see that it survived. And thanks very much, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.